All right, let's go to the Pacers. So
They're
for
so
me,
weird.
Well, I think that they're trying to get less weird over the next few days.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if, like, while we're recording this, like, something happens with them.
Same.
Right. I've written this already in the mock draft, but they're very active right now when you talk to sources around the league. Like, they're canvassing the league, trying to figure out what they want to do. They just have a number of, options on the table. Is it you keep Malcolm Brogdon and, continue to build around that backcourt? Do you move Malcolm Brogdon for draft capital? Do you keep Myles Turner because you think he opens up the court developmentally for some of these young guys that you could end up with? Do you trade? Like, there's just a number of things, I think, that are kind of on the table right now for them. I think they just need to find a long-term vision and stick with it. If I was them, I would be moving heaven and earth to move up to number 4 and draft Jaden Ivey at this point.
Yeah.
He's an Indiana kid. He fits incredibly well with Tyrese Halliburton. I'd be willing to give up, like I've said, Duarte. I'd give up something else in addition to Duarte +6 for number 4. I'm a big Jaden Ivey believer, though, and I get that some people have some concerns.
Wouldn't it be so Kings if they said, "Hey, just give us 6 and Myles Turner, so we can pair Sabonis and Turner"? Wouldn't that be the most Kings thing?
Yeah, don't do that, please.
Do not do
that. Please free Myles Turner and let him have his own thing going in the middle somewhere. That's all. So
that's what I want them to do. I think, first of all, I think Ivy and Halliburton, I think, would be a great fit. If they're unable to move up to 4, I like the idea of keeping Turner, like you said.
Yep.
Rim protecting, floor spacing, big man opens up the floor for their young guards, who I think they should add another young guard and just take Benedict Mathurin at 6. I would like a Halliburton, Mathurin, Turner core. Figure out what you do with TJ Warren. Figure out that void at the 3 and the 4, but trade Brogdon, go Halliburton, Mathurin.
You have Duarte as well,
and you have you have Chris Duarte.
Which is good.
Which is good. And I'd keep Turner. Like I would keep Turner and I would move Brogdon.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do as well. I would try and extend Myles Turner. I would understand where his mind is moving forward into next offseason. Like, does he want to be there? Is he willing to be there? If not, then you probably do have to take a serious look at him. But I would be willing to extend Myles Turner with this core. I think he's really good. I think he actualizes a lot of different lineup combinations because it's really still very hard to find guys who are elite rim protectors and floor spacers.
Yes.
And those guys at the center position are exceptionally valuable. That is why, I've seen some people raise number 13 for Myles Turner with Charlotte. If I'm Indiana, it costs more than 13 for Myles Turner to me.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm not moving him for just that pick.
I think he might be the most, I don't want to say underrated, but I want to say undervalued. I don't want to say the most. One of the most undervalued players in the NBA. I think there is more there that we all see, but we want to see it. We want to see him have the opportunity to show it.
Right. We haven't gotten a chance to see it yet because of the situation he's been in, right? Like, that's the critical issue here. In terms of everything else, I'm clear. I would try and move up to 4. If they can't, that's great. I'm with you. I think I try and move Malcolm Brogdon. The Wizards and Knicks are looking for point guards. Number 10, number 11 are right there. Yep. Deals involving those picks make sense. If you do the Wizards should be going in one direction or another. If they're going to re-sign Bradley Beal, I think they should be moving in the direction of competing. Malcolm Brogdon, and maybe something else for number 10, and what it'd have to be like KCP and a couple other things.
I think there might be a 3-team trade there.
Maybe.
Let's do the Pacers get 4. The Wizards get Brogdon. Yeah. And whatever, we'll the minor parts we could figure out if we want to. the Pacers get or the Kings get 6 and 10.
10. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, is there like a team that they could like throw 6 and 10 at, and like what would that get you?
Yeah, it's a great question. Like, or if you're Sacramento, do you just do Brogdon and 6 for 4?
That was one I pitched to. I have a friend who's a Kings fan. And I asked him if he would do that, and he said he would. He's also not a big Jaden Ivey fan, so he said he would do that.
Yeah, that's interesting because he's big. Like, you could actually play him with De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell a little bit.
Yep.
I think people don't really recognize how enormous Malcolm Brogdon is. Like, I've said this on the pod before, but like, if you stand next to him, if you shake his hand, he is a big dude.
He's big. He's stocky. And I think too, I think there's just like this idea. I know we're talking about the Pacers, but if the Kings got Brogdon, I don't necessarily like everybody. I think everybody has the idea that the Kings didn't want to play multiple guards. That's why they traded Halliburton. I don't think that's the case. I think they just wanted Domantas Sabonis, and the price was Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I don't think they're, even if it pertains to Ivy, like, I don't think they're opposed to multiple guards. I don't think they're trying to make room for Davion Mitchell in the starting lineup. I think long term Davion is probably a 6-man. That's just me. You might have different opinion on that. I would try to get somebody else in there as a core piece going forward.
That's interesting. Man, that's hard. I really think that I think that Ivy is in like a different stratosphere than Keegan and
Ben
Mathurin. I really like Mathurin a lot. I shouldn't say he's in a different stratosphere than Ben. But if Ben was to go like 5 or something like that, and then you have Keegan at 6, I would rather have Ivy, I think, than Brogdon and Murray, because I think that highly of Jaden and his upside and the fit there moving forward. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know what to do there yet. That's to me, like, that's what I'm trying. I don't know. The Kings are the hard one right now, and the Pacers are like the second hardest one, because I've heard a lot of different names there too, from like sources around the league in terms of who they could like. I think that they would take Mathurin at 6, but I'm not 100% clear on that.
I'm with you. And I would throw Detroit in there too. Like, I feel more comfortable. I felt more comfortable 3 weeks ago about who they would pick than I do today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got what else here with the Indiana Pacers? The question is, like, are you fully actualizing Malcolm Brogdon's trade value if you just do like 6 and 4 or 6 in Brogdon for 4, or like constructions around that where it's like Brogdon goes to the Wizards and you get 10, and then it's 6 and 10 for 4, and it's a number of different things, right? Like, essentially you're trading Brogdon and 6 for 4. I think you are, because I think that Malcolm is that good. Or I think that Jaden is that good.
I was going to say, if you think Jaden's that good, you just go get your guy.
But like, let's like game plan this out a little bit more. Like, if you're the Pacers, maybe you can get number 6, you take Ben Mathurin, number 10, you take Johnny Davis or something like that. You now have a backcourt core of Tyrese Halliburton, Ben Mathurin, Chris Duarte, Johnny Davis, with Myles Turner in the middle. That's a pretty fun core. Like, that's a really interesting one, I think.
I'm with you. I think that's the route the Pacers should go, personally. I don't know enough about Rick Carlisle to know if he's built for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that hiring him doesn't signal that, but it also, a lot of this is kind of, I don't know if a lot of this is manifested over the last few months that they're in this position where they can like full on rebuild if they want.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they've been so weird to me, is because you hear mixed signals about they just want to retool, like kind of what Portland's doing. Like, they're trying to take a year step back to build it back up. But then you're hearing that they might rebuild, and they have very good avenues for both. So that's why I think they're weird. And then you factor in who their coach is. It's interesting to me. I would go. I think the Kings should take Ivy and trade Fox, but they're not going to do that.
I agree with you. I've said that throughout, that if I was the Kings, that's what I would do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're not going to do that, but that's the same thing with the Pacers. I think the Pacers should try to go get as many lottery picks in this draft as they can.
Yeah, like the problem with the Kings if you do that is, and I know we're talking about the Pacers now, but like the problem with Kings if you do that is you're probably moving Fox for 11 to the Knicks and something else,
Yeah.
right? Or like, to the Wizards for 10 and something else. You're setting yourself up to rebuild again.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like actively what they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not. I'm skeptical that they would go down that route, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but they should, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I would say this, like you can give Myles Turner like a 4-year, $100 million extension. I would do that. Like if he's willing to take that, I would do that. I think he's really good.